It's now 4:30 on WKYT this morning. In Washington, D.C., police have identified a man who they say was shot by police after threatening people with a gun inside the U.S. Capitol building.
A group of Kentucky middle school students were visiting the Capitol as those shots were fired. We'll hear from the students and teachers on those frightening moments. And it appears Kentucky lawmakers in the House and Senate are not any closer to reaching a compromise on a state budget. A closer look at an ongoing budget battle ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. So good to have you with us on WKYT, bright and early on your Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
Here we are, March 29th. Good to have you along. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Michelle Chamberlain. Thanks so much for joining us. It's going to be one of those chillier mornings, but it hopes to warm up as the day goes on.
We look for sunshine today,
yes,
so that is
nice.
a good thing. That'll put a little higher step in your step this morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. Good morning. We're all getting it together here.
Yes, we are. It is Tuesday. I mean, I actually forgot what day it was, too. Live sky camera, there is your shot outside. It's a good-looking morning. I mean, most of us have clear skies, but look at these temperatures. Where we don't have the clear skies, where we have the clouds, we're in the 40s, and that goes from Jackson, London, Somerset, and Monticello. Where we don't have the clouds, Lexington at 39, Frankfort 35, 34 in Mount Sterling. You can see some of us getting right there around that pivotal point where we look for a little bit of frost to form. Near average temperatures later on this afternoon at 58. But it gets much warmer as we travel off into midweek. I'm going to show you those temperatures and some rain in there coming up.
We'll see you in a bit. Thank you. In the news this morning, police have identified the man who they say was shot by police after threatening people with a gun inside the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
They say 66-year-old Larry Dawson of Tennessee pulled out the gun at security screening area inside the U.S. Capitol visitor complex yesterday afternoon. Police say Dawson then pointed the gun at police officers who then shot and injured him. At last check, they say Dawson is in critical condition and a woman who was standing near him suffered minor injuries.
We believe that this is an act of a single person who has frequented the Capitol grounds before, and there is no reason to believe that this is anything more than a criminal act.
The Capitol's visitor complex will reopen this morning. Now, while all of that was going on, a group from Madison Middle School in Richmond was inside the Capitol building. Everyone in that group is safe. Monique Blair talked to a teacher and a student on the trip about the frightening moments at the Capitol.
We started taking pictures in front of some of the things we needed for our scavenger hunt.
What started off as a regular yearly Madison Middle School 8th grade class trip to the nation's capital quickly turned scary for 43 students and 7 chaperones.
We were walking down the steps, and out of nowhere, the guards screams, "Get down." And literally my first thought was that it was a drill.
But it wasn't a drill.
Then the shot went off, and then literally all of us just went down.
Madison Middle School history teacher Amy Vanover says dozens of tourists inside the visitor center at the Capitol were taken downstairs into a secure room for about 40 minutes. Students as well as the chaperones began to alert parents back in Kentucky that their children were safe.
A lot of them, of course, were worried, but as they made contact with their parents and as we were making contact with their parents as well, we realized that, the safest place was for us to stay there.
Vanover says 2 security guards kept the group informed on what was going on, specifically that police did have a suspect in custody. 8th grader Brady Snyder says although it's a trip he will never forget, he will not let it change his outlook on life.
We shouldn't let something like this stop us from doing what we want to do.
Now the group will be coming back to Kentucky Tuesday evening as was previously scheduled. In Madison County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Now, parents and teachers credit the students for staying calm and following directions during that stressful moment at the Capitol.
We are following breaking news out of Egypt this morning. CBS News reports that a government official is confirming an Egypt Air plane flying from Alexandria to Cairo was hijacked and forced to fly to Cyprus. The plane has landed in Larnaca Airport there in Cyprus this morning.
CBS News has reported all of the passengers were released from the plane except for the crew and 4 foreigners. Media in Cyprus reports the hijacker is seeking political asylum in Cyprus. Now keep it with WKYT as we continue to follow this story throughout the morning.
Well, meetings continued well into the evening in Frankfort, but it appears that Kentucky lawmakers in the House and Senate are not any closer to reaching a compromise on a state budget. The Democrat-controlled House and the Republican-controlled Senate cannot agree on all of the spending cuts that Governor Bevin wants. Garrett Weimer has the latest from Frankfort.
State lawmakers ended their after-hours budget conference before 10:30, shutting the door on the possibility of agreeing to a budget before their midnight deadline. They set that deadline so they would have time to override any veto from Governor Matt Bevin. Some party leaders wonder if they'll be able to even pass a budget at all before the 60-day session ends.
I don't know if we can reconcile our differences or not. We're certainly willing to try, but we have philosophical differences about key issues like funding education.
Senate Republicans and House Democrats spent the day behind closed doors and in conference trying to work out a deal, but neither side would budge. They're at odds over spending cuts, including to state colleges and universities, as well as how to fix the state's pension problem.
We believe that our approach is actually the right way to go for education by making these commitments to pensions.
In a video posted to Facebook around 9, Governor Matt Bevin urged lawmakers to compromise.
I'm standing here in front of Abraham Lincoln. You know, this is a man who knew a thing or two about working across the aisle, a man who knew about bringing people together, about rising above partisanship. This is what we're asking our friends on the other side of the aisle to do.
Lawmakers originally had hoped to agree on a budget Monday, vote on it Tuesday, and have it on the governor's desk by Wednesday. Right now, however, they still have yet to agree on what that budget would look like. At the Capitol in Frankfort, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Well, we'll see how it all goes. The last day of the 60-day legislative session is scheduled for April 12th. If lawmakers do not pass a budget, the governor would have to call a special session for them to pass one before the new fiscal year starts July 1st.
Authorities have released new surveillance video, hoping it helps them find a mystery man who may be connected to the Brussels, Belgium terror attacks. Now, the man who was wearing a dark hat and white coat can be seen along with 2 of the suicide bombers who attacked the Brussels airport. A judge released another man who had been arrested during police raids last week, citing a lack of evidence against him. Thousands of people filled a cathedral in Brussels yesterday for a vigil, honoring those who died in the attacks. Some of the people injured were there.
We have to be together, and that's the only thing we can be.
Lexington native Stephanie Schultz and her husband Justin, who is from Tennessee. President Obama called the Schultz family this weekend, offering his condolences. Family members say Stephanie's parents are still in Brussels, but are working to get back home here to Lexington.
Now, 4:38 on WKYT this morning. Police are looking for an inmate who they say escaped from a moving transport van. They say inmates 34-year-old Ledford Hamilton and 24-year-old Ronald Gray were being taken from the Knox County Jail to the Leslie County Jail yesterday afternoon. But when the van stopped at an intersection in Clay County, they say Hamilton and Gray jumped out through an unsecured door. Police say they caught Hamilton a short time later, but Gray is still on the run this morning. We are tracking the investigation into a deadly crash involving a motorcycle in Pulaski County. Somerset police say it happened yesterday afternoon on East Somerset Church Road. They say 23-year-old Haven O'Connor lost control of the motorcycle and hit a utility pole and was thrown off of the bike. Police say O'Connor later died at the hospital. They are not sure what caused the motorcycle to go out of control.
Lexington police have arrested a man they say robbed 2 gas stations last week. Police have charged 48-year-old Jesse Walker with 2 counts of robbery. They say he robbed a Thornton's on North Broadway last Tuesday night and a Shell on West New Circle 6 hours later. Police say while serving a warrant on Walker for an unrelated case Sunday, an officer recognized him from surveillance video of the 2 robberies. Police say they interviewed Walker and then arrested him. A man accused of killing another man in Morgan County nearly 2 years ago has agreed to a plea deal. Christopher Payton pled guilty to murder and evidence tampering yesterday. Police say he shot Randy Williams at a Morgan County home in October of 2014. Payton's mother, Kimberly, faces facilitation and evidence tampering charges in this case. Now, Payton faces a 25-year prison sentence, But as part of the plea deal, prosecutors recommended a lesser sentence for his mother, 5 years for each of 2 charges against her.
A Johnson County man who died while trying to save his grandmother's life during a flash flood has been nominated for a national award. Scott Johnson was swept away last July while trying to rescue his grandmother from her flooded home, but she also died in the flooding. For Johnson's heroic acts, he has been nominated for an award from the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission. His father says he deserves it.
What he did, if it doesn't fit the bill, I don't know what would.
Carnegie Hero Fund Commission leaders say it will take them several months to decide who will win the award. Well, WKYT This Morning is just getting started on your Tuesday morning. It's now 4:40, 20 before 5.
Choosing the right child care is a serious decision for parents. We'll take a look at how you can make that transition easier for you and your child. Ahead on WKYT This Morning.
We have some patchy frost out and about early this morning. We hit the afternoon and look for those temperatures to be near average, and then we skyrocket those temperatures the next couple of days. We'll talk about the forecast coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We're looking out and about and seeing those temperatures in the 30s and 40s early this morning. Some spots already nearing that 32-degree reading. Look at Mount Sterling and Winchester, Paris, North Middletown. Those areas right there around that 32-degree reading, which means heads up for some frost, big-time frost there through that region. That's where we actually have a frost advisory in effect through 10 a.m. Now, Lexington's at 39 degrees. We aren't under a frost advisory. And really, it's for that area of Moorhead, Mount Sterling, roll right through Highway 11, also 68, and travel back toward the northern areas. That's where we're seeing that frost advisory, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get it down toward the south or back toward the west, or even here in Lexington. So there is some patchy frost where you're not under that advisory, but yeah, we travel off through the day and we're going to be seeing temperatures there around 58 degrees. Head off into the evening and nighttime hours and it looks pretty good. So a lot of sunshine is expected. Let's talk about your forecast as we travel off into Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday will actually be in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. Then we hit Thursday. Now Thursday morning we will have a chance at some showers rolling on through right around this time to about 8 a.m. is when you start to see those move on in, and especially for I-75 and back toward the west. But look at all the rain heading our direction. This is widespread rain. Virtually all of us will see rain out of this, showers and thunderstorms too. But that's not so much during the day on Thursday. Watch as we travel off into the night. Thursday will be scattered showers and thunderstorms, but when you're looking at strong thunderstorms, look at that form back toward 11 p.m. as it travels through the nighttime hours on Thursday off into Friday morning. So there are some thunderstorms going to be making their way through. Will they be severe? That remains to be seen. I just don't see it as of right now. Maybe a small risk. But for the moment, we're just looking at strong thunderstorms going to be rolling through during that Thursday night time frame. Early chance there on Friday, and then it slides on out of here. Once it slides on out of here, then we're talking about a cool weekend in store sitting there in the 50s, and then jumps right back to the 60s there on Monday. And I talked about this yesterday where, yeah, it doesn't look like that roller coaster ride stopping anytime soon, guys. It's that Thursday time we're going to be watching for very closely.
Okay, looks like a rainy, stormy day on Thursday.
Rainy,
otherwise, though, we got to like this.
Enjoyable day today.
Nice and calm. Go out in the sun today. 4:46 is our time right now. It is a big decision for a parent, and that is when you put a kid in childcare. What do you do? What are the options?
It is hard. And moms, if you're having a hard time letting your kid go, they say that actually makes things harder on them. Here's how to ease that transition in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
One of the most difficult decisions for new parents is who will take care of their child if and when they go back to work. A new study from the University of Illinois shows that transition can be easier when there's a strong partnership between mother and provider.
The mixed method study also found that when there is a bond developed, it benefits the child's development. Finding childcare outside of the family is a highly emotional process for moms. Researchers interviewed 65 mothers who said they had a tougher time than their children. And those kids that did have a hard time had mothers who had a hard time. Moms with an easier transition felt comfortable with the provider and the idea of returning to work, and also had some control over when they return to work and how many hours they'd work. Some things that child care providers can do: offer a warm welcome, pay special attention to building relationships with families, and allow parents to bring their child to the center to get acquainted before they start child care.
For more ways to make mom's life easier, visit momseveryday.com. For these tips and more, just go to WKYT.com and click on Moms Every Day.
And you'll also find the latest news and weather right there as well. Good to have you with us on WKYT this morning, bright and early here on your Tuesday, 4:48 now.
It appears the legal battle brewing between Apple and the federal government may be over. The U.S. Justice Department says it has unlocked a gunman's iPhone without Apple's help. That story coming up.
Good morning and welcome back into WKYT this morning. It's 4:51 right now on your Tuesday. It appears the bitter legal battle that has been brewing between Apple and the federal government may be over.
Yeah, the U.S. Department says it has unlocked the iPhone belonging to one of the gunmen in the San Bernardino attack. It's now asking the court to vacate an order that would have forced Apple to help hack the device. Terry Okita has the latest.
The federal government says it didn't need Apple's help to bypass a security function that was keeping it from accessing encrypted information on the iPhone of San Bernardino terror suspect Syed Farook. The Justice Department issued a statement saying, "With the recent assistance of a third party, we are now able to unlock that iPhone without compromising any information on the phone." The Justice Department asked the court to withdraw an order that required Apple to help the FBI hack into Farook's iPhone. Apple had refused to help, saying it would set a dangerous precedent and threaten the privacy of its iPhone users. CEO Tim Cook took a firm stance at the company's product launch event last week.
We have a responsibility to help you protect your data and protect your privacy.
The FBI is now reviewing information it found on Farook's iPhone. Terry Okita, CBS News.
We are learning more about a man who died after his car plunged off of a bridge and into the Ohio River. Campbell County police say 32-year-old David Bouma was inside a car that was pushed off the Interstate 275 bridge between Campbell County and Cincinnati nearly 2 weeks ago. Crews were not able to pull the car from the water until Saturday. They say Bouma's body was still inside. Investigators say he died of blunt force trauma. Bouma worked for an IT support company outside of Cincinnati.
The Kentucky House has passed a bill that would allow bourbon distilleries in wet cities or counties to offer by-the-drink sales. Now, supporters of the bill say it will allow distilleries to sell more of their bourbon and offer slightly larger amounts of free samples. The bill had already passed the Senate, but the House made some changes, so it must go back to the Senate.
Plans to build a new cookie plant in Woodford County are moving forward. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, the Versailles City Council voted unanimously to rezone and annex property on Big Sink Road so More Than a Bakery, that's the name of the company, could build the plant there. The company says the plant would create more than 300 jobs. There's been a little bit of a controversy there about the site selection, but it is a go now for the cookie plant in Woodford County. Coming next, we'll take a look at some of the stories that we're working on for you this morning.
And we'll have another look at your morning forecast.
Good morning. It's 4:56. We're rolling toward 5 o'clock bright and early here on your Tuesday.
Yeah, now it's time to take a look at some of the stories we're working on this morning.
Our news team is busy right now. We're tracking a fire in Jessamine County this morning. We know that a home is on fire on Hawthorne Drive in Nicholasville. We do have a reporter arriving on scene right now. We'll bring you updates coming up at the top of the hour. We're also, of course, following up this situation with the Egyptian plane hijacked, and it has landed in Cyprus this morning. So details as we get them.
Right, and the crew and 4 other foreigners are still on board that plane as far as we know.
I want to check in with Micah right now, who is watching weather for us, and sunshine coming today.
Yeah, and we have a lot of news going on. Very active day in store, so keep in touch with us on WKYT.com throughout your day, and also next 2 hours of WKYT News coming up in just a few minutes. But temperatures outside this morning, it's pretty chilly. We're in the 30s for most locations, but we rise very rapidly. I'll show you how high we go in these booming temperatures for midweek coming up with another 2 hours of WKYT News.